In the rugged landscapes of Afghanistan, the T-62, a Soviet-designed main battle tank, found itself thrust into a conflict that would reshape the course of history. As Soviet forces intervened in the tumultuous terrain to support the Democratic Republic of Afghanistan, the T-62 became a symbol of armored might, facing unprecedented challenges in the face of guerrilla warfare. This is the story of the T-62 in the Soviet-Afghan War, a tale of adaptability, vulnerability, and the enduring impact of conventional armor in unconventional battles. The echoes of the Soviet-Afghan War 1979 to 1989 still reverberate through history, and among the myriad elements that define this tumultuous conflict, the T-62, a Soviet-designed main battle tank, emerged as a symbol of both might and vulnerability. Developed as an upgrade to the T-55 tank in the early 1960s, the T-62 played a pivotal role in the Soviet military intervention in Afghanistan, facing challenges that would redefine the dynamics of armored warfare in unconventional settings. The T-62 was developed in the early 1960s as an upgrade to the T-55 tank. It was designed to feature improvements in firepower and protection. The tank was armed with a 115mm smoothbore gun, which was a departure from the rifled guns used on earlier Soviet tanks. The T-62 had a crew of 4 and weighed around 40 tons. While it was an advancement in its time, by the late 1970s, it was considered somewhat outdated compared to newer tank designs. During the Soviet-Afghan War, which began in 1979 when the Soviet Union intervened in Afghanistan to support the pro-Soviet government, the T-62 was a mainstay in the Soviet armored forces. The Soviet military employed a variety of armored vehicles, including the T-62, to combat the guerrilla warfare tactics used by Afghan mujahideen. The possession of T-62 tanks became more than a military advantage, it became a symbol of authority. Warlords and factions paraded these armored behemoths through cities and across battlefields, using their imposing presence to instill fear and assert dominance. The T-62, once a tool of a foreign power, had transformed into a potent symbol of local power dynamics. The harsh and rugged terrain of Afghanistan presented challenges for armored warfare. The mountainous and uneven landscape limited the mobility of tanks, including the T-62. Additionally, the guerrilla tactics employed by the mujahideen, such as ambushes and hit-and-run attacks, minimized the effectiveness of traditional tank warfare. The T-62's armor protection was also vulnerable to certain types of anti-tank weapons used by the mujahideen, including RPG-7 rocket-propelled grenades. These weapons allowed the Afghan resistance to target and disable Soviet armor, including T-62 tanks, with greater mobility and flexibility. To counter the challenges posed by the Afghan terrain and guerrilla tactics, Soviet forces adapted their strategies and modified armored vehicles, including the T-62. Reactive armor kits were occasionally added to T-62 tanks to enhance protection against anti-tank projectiles. Despite these efforts, the guerrilla nature of the conflict persisted, emphasizing the limitations of traditional armored warfare in such environments. The Soviet-Afghan War concluded in 1989 with the withdrawal of Soviet forces, leaving behind a legacy of instability in Afghanistan. While the T-62, as part of the Soviet military presence, did not fundamentally alter the course of the war, its role highlighted the challenges of employing conventional military tactics in unconventional warfare scenarios. Post-withdrawal, many T-62 tanks were left abandoned, and some fell into the hands of various factions. These tanks continued to be used in subsequent conflicts within Afghanistan, showcasing the enduring adaptability of the T-62 in the ever-changing landscape of warfare. The T-62's role in the Soviet-Afghan War serves as a historical testament to the complexities and challenges faced by conventional armored forces in asymmetric conflicts. From the harsh terrains of Afghanistan to the adaptability of the mujahideen, the T-62 navigated a unique battlefield, leaving an indelible mark on the annals of military history. As we reflect on this chapter, the T-62's legacy in Afghanistan stands as a reminder of the need for innovation and adaptability in the face of unconventional and ever-evolving warfare.